Hi there, Laura Swan here. I'm a women's healing and empowerment coach and transformational leadership mentor and the founder of Conscious Feminine Leaders Academy. You can find me at laurajswan.com. So today I want to talk a little bit more about the Warrioress goddess, which we have been exploring in our transformational leadership program called Lead from Love. So this is a 9-week transformational leadership program that I do for women who are interested in stepping into their roles as leaders and healers and teachers on the planet at this time. And many of these women specifically are interested in facilitating women's circles. And so what I have found in my years of creating and in my years of stepping into my own work, my own business, is that oftentimes I will come up against this little friend who has been around quite often in my journey, named resistance. And what I have found is that this resistance will tend to show up whenever I'm really stepping into a project or a launch of something in my business or writing my book. This part of myself shows up and just says, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And it's like a child who is rebelling and resistant and just completely irritating me to the max. And so in this program, in Lead from Love, this is something that we explore. We explore, what do we do when the resistance comes up? What do we do when we are feeling so on track and then all of a sudden it's like everything gets thrown off by this part of ourselves that just doesn't want to move forward? And we know that there are times when resistance can come up when it's valuable, when perhaps we're burning ourselves out or when we are depleting ourselves to the max and there's no energy left. So there is a time when a healthy resistance will arise and say, you know what, this is not good for me. But it's a deeper knowing. It's a deeper wise woman energy that says, you know what, this isn't right for me anymore. I can't continue. I need to course correct, rest, and come back to this. That's a very different feeling than resistance. Resistance feels more like a bratty child that just doesn't want to do what it doesn't want to do. So something that we're doing in this program that I want to offer for you too is talking to your resistance. And this is an exercise that I actually led my women through yesterday, and it was amazing. And I want to tell you a little story about what happened when I led this exercise. So the point of this exercise is that you actually picture your resistance. You picture what she looks like, what she feels like, or he, if it feels masculine to you, masculine or feminine, either one. And you actually have a dialogue and a conversation with your resistance. And you can do it with your eyes closed. You can do it journaling. You can ask your resistance, what is it that you're here to teach me? And the point of this is that the more we refuse and reject and don't listen, oftentimes the louder something gets, and the more loud it will get until it gets our attention. So the little fun side story here about this whole concept is that as I was leading this exercise, I have a virtual circle. This is a virtual circle program. And my little girl was in the other room, and she was being watched by a new friend, amazing, wonderful friend, but a new friend nonetheless. And my little girl takes some time to get used to people. And this is something that I have learned to honor about her, that once she feels safe and once she drops in, then she's friends for life. But until she has that time to transition and to be with somebody new, she gets very scared and she'll cling to me and she'll be afraid and not really want to be with a new person. So I knew this, and yesterday I was in a pinch. We had a babysitter had to cancel, and then all of our family was out of town. There was nobody that could watch Luna, but this beautiful friend of mine offered to be with her. And it wouldn't have mattered if it was Mary Poppins. It wouldn't matter if it was the best nanny in the world. Luna does not feel comfortable until she's had a chance to have some time and get to know somebody. And so in a pinch, I made it work, and my friend came over, and I had to go right into leading my circle, talking about this concept of the inner warrioress, and being able to push through with fierce love and be able to move through our fears, and to do it knowing that we're coming from a place of fierce love. And when we come up against the resistance, to meet it with love and with receptivity and listening, versus trying to chop through it and push it away and make it go away. So as I'm teaching this, I hear my daughter in the background having a royal fit. She is screaming, she is crying. I have to leave my circle for a minute to go out and check on her to make sure everything's okay. And I see she's okay, but she's just really scared. She's got a new babysitter. She doesn't know what to do. So we try every Band-Aid. I tried putting on a show that I know it's our emergency babysitter when needed. It's Frozen right there. I admitted it. It's Frozen. Frozen is her, if she's really needing to be occupied for a moment, it's our last resort. So I put it on and didn't work. Nothing worked. Absolutely no Band-Aid would work. My little girl was scared and she did not feel safe to be in a new situation. So as I came back in and I'm sitting here leading a guided visualization around meeting your resistance, and all I hear is my little girl screaming in the background. And finally I just said, you know what? I can't do this. I've got to go be with my girl. I've got to check on her and make sure that she's okay. And so I went and I got my daughter and I brought her into my circle with me, and I held her with me. I held her against my chest while she calmed down and while she relaxed and she knew she was safe. And I held her while I facilitated the rest of the circle. And I apologized to the women. I let them know I was so sorry for the distraction and that we would have a makeup circle if needed. And the beautiful thing that a woman in the circle pointed out to me very quickly was that what happened in that circle was an exact demonstration of what it was I was teaching. That when the resistance comes up and it screams and it screams and it screams like a little child, that it's not to be rejected, it's not to be distracted, it's not to be trying to, put it off into another direction so that it doesn't bother you anymore. It's to be held and listened to, and that there is a message in that resistance for you. And so when I finally went and got my little girl and I looked her in the eyes and I held her and I made her know that no matter what, I don't care if I had to let down my circle, if I had to, cancel it, it didn't matter. I was going to be there for her. That fierce love showed up for her and she felt safe and she was able to actually be a part of the circle and participate, on my lap and be really kind of an angel for the rest of the time. Granted, we had to listen to toddler music in the background, but it worked. I've never led meditations with Old MacDonald Had a Farm in the background, but it worked. It worked fine. And the women were amazing, but the beauty of that lesson is the same thing for us. When our resistance shows up, it's usually a very young part of ourselves that needs our attention. It's usually the little girl or the little boy inside that does not feel safe for whatever reason. And the resistance comes up to say, I need to feel safe in order to move forward, in order to let you sit here and lead your circle, in order to let you write your book and launch your business and do the things that are most important. This part of ourselves needs to feel safe. And so, the universe delivers the lessons in the most beautiful ways that we can receive them and learn them. And I had the opportunity to learn that lesson as I was trying to demonstrate it through teaching, and it happened through this experience with my daughter. And so it's an invitation for you as well, that when your resistance comes up, to take time to stop and to listen. And when you find that you just can't muscle through something, even though that muscling through is a quality of the inner warrioress and the warrior goddess that all of us as women have inside, and we have to call upon to push through some of the most challenging tasks that we have, but not to the point of burnout and not to the point of rejecting ourselves. That's when you know your warrior goddess is not actually rooted in love. That when your warrior goddess is rooted in love, she has patience, she's able to listen, and she is fierce with love and compassion versus with distraction and denial and not listening. So that's the invitation for you, is step fiercely into your warrior goddess and come from such love that when that resistance comes up, you listen, you talk to her, You listen to what she has to say and what she's there to teach you. How has she been there to protect you? What role has this resistance played that's actually kept you safe? And when you could understand that, when you could actually journal that and listen and pay attention to what your own inner world is trying to teach you, that's when you become free. And that's when you can actually move through and step into the greatest callings of your heart and do it with the fierceness of a warrioress of love. So try this on, see how it works for you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.